Good Monday morning, YouTube. How is it going? Kyle here. I'm the Geekin Dad, back with another video. Cheers. Today's video, we are talking about budget gaming headsets, focusing on the Corsair Void RGB. Now, before we get into it, you'll notice that we got a little bit of a new setup here. Let me know what you think, how you like it. New year, new me, new backdrop, blah, blah, blah. I like it, so we're gonna run with it. So like I said, in today's video, we're taking a look at a budget USB gaming headset. Today's is coming from Corsair. This is the Corsair Void RGB. This is at least as of recording this, on Amazon you can pick it up for $60. I think at Best Buy you can pick it up for $60 too. USB 7.1 virtual Dolby Surround gaming headset. We've got solid 50mm drivers which get nice and loud and do a good job of hitting on the bass. We've also got a pretty decent mic with a boom, boom in terms of coming up and down. And we've got a nice package overall. The big selling points obviously are going to be Corsair's, their Corsair Utility Engine, which is their software package used for managing their devices, used for managing, if you're looking at mouse and keyboards, it's used for managing, macros and all the fine-tuned settings that you can do on those, but also, of course, RGB. In fact, if we take a look here, you'll see that the RGB is fairly decent. We've got good color range right now going on. We've just got it on the default rainbow and it cycles through. You have a lot of different options in terms of what you can do with the RGB lighting. And the Corsair software, you can really link it up to all your Corsair branded peripherals, and do some really interesting and neat things with it. If we continue the physical tour, you'll notice that these are flat, which is great, because it lets you, when you're finished using these headsets, lay them down flat, on your desk or whatever, which is really handy and kind of keeps them protected. You'll also see that we have some adjustment room right here, which is great. So you've got the adjustment as well. And it sticks pretty well, which is nice. As far as the microphone is concerned, here you go. It just goes down and up. There's no real other adjustment. It's got flexibility into it, but as far as like sticking adjustment, it is what it is. If you put it on, you'll see that it goes all the way down here. For me, I'm usually right here. While we have the Corsair headset on, one thing that I do want to point out for our mic is the mute button. Now, you've got your mute button on the back over here. And you've got two very distinct, I say very distinct, you've got a ba-doop, ba-doop, to give you an audio indication as to whether or not the mic is muted or not. And you also have a little red LED light that when you're wearing the mic and you're using it, you actually see the red out of the corner of your eye, kind of in your peripheral vision, which is also handy as well in terms of knowing whether or not you're muted or not, which we are right now. Sticking with the microphone, we'll go ahead and do some audio comparisons. This is obviously me talking with my cheap little lavalier mic going into my Zoom H1. I also have my GoPro mic, which is, obviously right here. Compare that. We've got the Rode Video Mic Go sitting on top of the camera. It's just a little shotgun camera, or a shotgun microphone for the camera. And then obviously this is the Corsair Void RGB microphone. So this gives you an idea of what you're hearing for everything. And it's a pretty decent sounding microphone for a USB headset. One thing that USB headsets always get slammed for is just absolutely terrible mic quality. And this isn't terrible, but it certainly isn't as good as even like a Blue Snowball, which is about a $50 standalone USB microphone. So it's something to keep in mind. The comfort of these, it's okay. When comparing this headset, I have a Kingston HyperX cloud gaming headset with which to compare it to. Now, the big difference is there's probably about 3 really big differences. The first, and let me get readjusted here. The first big difference is going to be the design right here of our ear cups. The ear cups are an interesting design with this kind of hard, not a rectangle, but the hard lines, which aren't normal and what you're used to when you're working with a headset. They're comfortable enough, but they're not super duper comfortable. I've noticed that I was previously able to wear the HyperX Cloud headset that I have much longer before I got uncomfortable than with these. You'll also notice that this is it's a cloth right here instead of, and hopefully the light catches it and does a good job of that. This is a cloth as opposed to the pleather that's on the HyperX Cloud, which again, I think the pleather is more comfortable personally. When I get warm, the cloth on here can get a little itchy. And then the third place where you have cloth is up on the top, on the headband up here. So you do have, you've got your memory foam up top, which is comfortable, but again, it's between the cloth and where it sits on your head. It can be a little uncomfortable because interestingly enough, this sits very forward on your head as compared to like a normal headset. Normally, headsets, the band's going across the very top of your head, really comfortable, and it's what most people are used to. With the Corsair Void, when you've got this on your ears right, the headband sits a little further forward on your head than what you're used to seeing. Or not what you're used to seeing, what you're used to wearing. So it's something to keep in mind, and it's something that has caused discomfort over long gaming sessions for me. For example, on Friday, I was doing my D&D session with my friends on Roll20, and I got uncomfortable after the first 3 hours of playing, which I know 3 hours of D&D, that's a lot, but you get the point. Like if you're gaming, if you got a good Saturday night gaming session going or something like that, like you might get uncomfortable. But again, that's kind of a subjective thing, and it's hard to make an objective opinion about that. But that's my opinion. So yeah, one last thing to mention about the headset before we kind of wrap up and give some thoughts and conclusions is that down here, we do have a volume rocker button, which is great. And then of course, like I pointed out earlier, we've got our mute button. Something else that I want to point out is just how loud these guys can get. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some music playing. And this is gonna be Masterpiece Society from AKA Mike B. And this is, now granted, this is the volume turned up 100% on my computer, but the point remains, and goes to show the power of, and the volume level that these 50mm drivers can really put out. So if you're in a pinch and you need some speakers, but you're not able to yours are broken, or you're on the go when you need some speakers and you want to share something with friends or something on your laptop, you can actually do that with these really, really well. Another thing worth mentioning is the 7.1 virtual surround on here. Now when I turn it on, I can hear a difference. It definitely opens up the sound space, but it wasn't so much so that I felt like I gained any kind of advantage or anything like that. It just kind of sort of helped to open this sound space and kind of help with the immersion more than it did with like any sort of competitive edge or advantage that might have come with a 7.1 setup, like a true 7.1. So that's nice. Also, you have the ability to do custom EQs along with several different presets. You've got presets for FPS gaming, for movies, just a flat EQ preset, which is intended probably more towards like editing and stuff like that. Now that said, I don't know that I would use these for like proper video editing or doing audio editing or anything, but for light stuff, kind of like what I'm using right now, it gets the job done. So, it's a good headset. Like I said, for $60, I don't know that you're going to be able to beat this headset in terms of overall comfort, in terms of overall value, overall sound, and mic quality. It's going to be really hard to beat what this is able to do. Amazon shows the list price at 80 and it's cut to 60. And I'm pretty sure when I purchased these at Best Buy, which is where I got them from personally, I know I only paid 60 for them there too. So it's a good, I mean, it is not dirt cheap, but it's not also like the Sennheiser Gamer HD expensive, which, you know, if you talk to Dimitri at Hardware Connects, he'll say that's the gold standard for gaming headsets. So it's definitely not that. It's definitely not something you'll pick up at Walmart for 30 bucks and want to throw away within 30 minutes either. So it hits a good midpoint for me. So with all of that said, I definitely think it's worth it. If you're looking for something and you want to keep it at $60, if $50 is your budget, I would stretch it up to 60 to get these. Who knows, you might be able to find them for 50 on other websites. I don't know. I haven't looked personally. But all that said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Let me know what you think about the new setup. And I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. So until next time, geek on.